understand the word investment. Investment is basically cash flow. So when you talk about such topics, it is very important that you understand the type of terms you are using. And mentioning out the diaspora, it is not just about. And I'll give you a very simple example that you will understand. It's about earning in dollars and spending in rupees. It's a very simple, straight up statement. I hope you'll understand it.
Thing that you told about earning in dollars and spending in rupees. So in this year, in 2026, immigration, I don't think geography doesn't impact immigration. I mean, a Bangalore graduate sitting in Bangalore can earn in dollars for working countries outside. Like he can work for a country in US from his home. He can work from online thing. Geography shouldn't be such a impactful thing for immigration, I guess. So that's India. Mein, we can while living in India, we can still earn in dollars.
So when you understand the topic brain drain, do you realize that it is Indian professionals working for other countries or studying there? So when you work there, whether it's physically or mentally, what you're seeing is even when you're working online, it's still brain drain. So you're supporting a point that when Indians work for others, it exposes them to better opportunities and it exposes them to better openings. I think that is what you just said, and that is our point. That is the proposition. Let me speak. And again, and when we send Indians in other countries, do you not think it supports India's soft power as a political alignment in the world geopolitics?
First, I'm not supporting the point. I'm just clarifying, like your. I'm just saying, like in general, I'm not supporting the point. And
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges and fellow debaters, the debate on migration abroad, opportunities for students or loss for India, raises a critical question about our priorities. Today, we argue that large-scale migrations of students abroad is significant loss for India. When India invests in education, it expects its return in form of skilled professionals contributing to nation's development. However, many talented individuals leave contributing their skills to other nations instead. The brain drain hampers India's progress, depriving our economic growth and innovation, entrepreneurship and problem-solving abilities. While studying abroad has opportunities and benefits, we must ask, can India afford to lose its best minds? Our education system and economic needs talented individuals to drive growth, improve infrastructure, and solve press challenging lives like poverty and inequality. Rather than encouraging migrations, let us focus on creating opportunities here in our nation, improving institutions, fostering research, and making India a hub for global learning and innovation. When the students stay, they contribute to India's future, its growth. Let's prioritize India's growth and retain our talent. Thank you.
So, honorable judges, respected moderator, and my honorable worthy opponents, let me make this clear. This debate was never about passports or planes. It was not about people going here and there. It was about possibility. India today produces some of the finest of minds, most talented students in the world. But ambition, just like science, cannot grow in isolation. It needs an ecosystem. And when you find that ecosystem, when you travel, when you grow, and when you explore, that is not betrayal, that is preparation. A very famous quote from one of my favorite traveling philosophers is that mind is not a vessel. It is not to be filled. It is a fire to be kindled. Migration is the wood to that fire. Now, my dear opponent spoke of loss, professional loss, gain loss, study loss, all loss. But when you say loss, loss assumes finality. Migration today is not something final. It's not a one-way exit. It's a circulation. People go out, they explore, they learn, then they come back. They send back more knowledge, they build startups in India, they fund innovations, and they return. Maybe not physically. They don't return physically, but they return financially, they return ideologically. I think that is what matters. It is not brain drain. It is as a hive brain, as the country, we are going in brain expansion. So I'll start. But the world had more to teach. Maybe they return with more ideas than they ever could farm in this country. Progress was never meant for isolation. I'll start with a quote. A river does not lose itself because it merges in the sea. It just becomes the sea of knowledge. Now let me bring in Srinivasa Ramanujan. The Indian system did not fail him. Cambridge did not take him away from us. What happened is Cambridge gave us a mathematician whose name commands respect in the global mathematician community. Or take B.R. Ambedkar. He went abroad, he studied laws of liberty and freedom, strongest of them. And then he returned to India to write the constitution. If migration, if going out to study is betrayal, then the very foundation of our Indian democracy is being accused. And let's not forget Dr. Anandibai Joshi. When she went abroad to study, she opened gates for women in an era where women were not even allowed to study. So let me conclude with this. Migration is not escape. It is not rejection. It is an aspiration in motion. India is not so fragile that when its children leave to go abroad, they don't return. It is confident in its own students that they return. It trusts them to come back stronger. Its strength lies in and to choose India and give back to it. Thank you.
It was a great opening debate for the evening. Moving on to the debate number 2, we invite Wave Warriors and Tech Titans.
We invite Wave Warriors and Tech Titans, and their topic is: are traditional degrees losing their relevance in the current job market? IT, which is Tech Titans, is for proposition, and EXTC, which is Wave Warriors, are for the opposition. Please proceed towards the stage.
Good afternoon, honorable judges, respected faculty members, worthy opponents, my dear friends. I stand before you today to support the motion that traditional degrees are losing their relevance in the current job market. This statement is not an attack on the education. It is an observation of reality. We are living in an era defined by speed, innovation, and disruption. Industries are evolving faster than before. Yet a traditional degree remains largely rigid, slow, and theory-driven. This growing mismatch is the core reason degrees no longer the decisive factor they once were. Once a degree guarantees employment, today it merely guarantees an eligibility to apply. A degree may show what someone studied, but skills show what someone can actually do. In a performance-driven economy, ability always wins over the formality. Our opponents may argue that degrees provide stability, but stability today does not come from static qualification. It comes from continuous learning. They may argue that degrees build foundation, but the foundation that do not evolve eventually cracks. Honorable judges, degrees are not disappointing, but their dominance is fading. in a world that rewards relevance, adaptability, and real world performance. Traditional degrees are no longer the ultimate path to success. Therefore, I strongly urge you to support the position and agree that traditional degrees are losing their relevance in today's job market. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Respected judges, honorable teachers, and my dear friends, good evening. Today, I, Asha Purohit, is standing in front of you to speak against the statement that traditional degrees are losing their relevance in the market. Yes, I feel the world is changing. Yes, skills are important. But just to say that traditional degrees are becoming irrelevant is not just it's just an exaggeration, because it's a misunderstanding of how education and careers really work. Because the truth is simple. Skills may get you a job, but degrees often decides how far you go. According to the global labor statistics, people with a bachelor's degree earn almost 65% more than those with simply just a high school qualification. And yes, they also face lower employment rates. This is not just a coincidence. This is a proof that market still trusts degrees. It is a foundation of knowledge, discipline, dedication, and our commitment to that field. If degrees were truly losing their relevance, but company will still list them as requirement for millions of jobs worldwide. Because some career exists only on degrees. Can you become a doctor without a medical college or a lawyer without a law college? No, of course not. Because entire industries, healthcare, law research, education, architecture, and aviations depend completely on formal education. Without these traditional degrees, these professions will not even exist in a structured and a safe way, I feel. Because people often say that skills are more matter than the degrees. But this is just a competition, I feel. Because a degree is not meant to just replace the skills, it is meant to build the base on which skills require. A degree is not just meant to replace the skill, it is meant to build the base on which it stands. Because the college teaches more than the textbooks. It teaches you critical thinking, teamwork, communication, ethics, and problem solving. These are lifelong skills, no short course can replace them. Degrees are not outdated, our mindset is. Because the solution is not to reject the college, but to combine the college education with real world skills, internships, and experiences. I would like to say no that the traditional degrees are losing their relevance, because they are evolving, they are adapting, and they are strengthening in a world that needs not just fast workers, but smart thinkers. And here, at the end, I would like to conclude it by saying that skills may open the door, but degrees build the house. Thank you.
So for civil, mechanical, electrical, healthcare, etc., in many sectors, a degree is a legal requirement. You cannot just sign off a bridge or build a telecommunication tower or just do a surgery without a degree.
Everything in the market needs something. Skills are required for everything, even though you are pursuing the traditional degrees. But we need internships like short-term skills and all to get the job. Also, the tech giants in India and all over are focusing on skills through interviews, aptitude tests, etc. And you said mechanical, civil. So everywhere the skills are required more than completion of the things.
Okay, so as you mentioned that degrees are not that relevant, but can you just answer this that engineers are not the only contributors to this world. There are multiple professions. There are Supreme Court judges, there are doctors. They can actually do a short-term course in online and just go for a treatment or an operation. They do need degrees, I feel, at that moment.
degrees are, as you said, not just engineers are there, but even the other courses like lawyers, doctors, everyone has a training period, you know. It's not just the degree, everyone has a skill training period. Even for CAs, they are having like 2 years of articleship before getting the degrees. So gaining that skill is very important, not just the degree.
Topic is here we are actually deciding whether the degrees holds a relevance in the market or not. And yes, we do feel that their stance they actually has a relevance in the market. This was my question.
But as you said that only the traditional degrees that we are considering, such as mechanical or civil or architecture or other degrees, they are contributing in the economy in large extent. I agree with that. But the point is currently the world is revolving around the tech industry, and a majority of the tech industry requires skills because majority of the companies such as tech giants such as Microsoft or Google, they don't focus on your degrees because they know that you can get degree from anywhere, because majority of the universities such as Cambridge and Oxford, even the IITs in our India, they are providing the master's degree externally where a student can apply through them online, and they don't have to go to the colleges. They can pursue this degree from their homes as well. But they are majorly focusing on the various courses and skills they are providing, such as various courses provided by Google's IBM, and where they are only focusing on the certification courses and the major final exam they conduct, which will decide whether the candidate is eligible for the skills they gather from that course or not. So what can you say about that?
Alright, so I feel that degrees are not only restricted to formal degrees, right? I'll give you an example. 1983, Pan Am Flight 73 en route to US via Karachi in Pakistan and Germany. This cabin crew, who was the head purser of the flight, Nirja Bhanot, she was just 23 years old. She pursued her degree, did specialization in aviation in cabin crew. When the plane was hijacked in Pakistan, it was 5th September 1983 when the flight was hijacked. For the entire day, she was there. The pilots, they had run away. But those cabin crew members, their degree, or see, it's not only about formal degrees, right? It's a specific or a specialized training as well, wherein they put a lot of efforts, a lot of time they invest a lot of time into their degrees. She saved 329 passengers that day when the lights were off after the fuel was completely burned off. She saved 329 passengers. Only 21 of them were lost because they were sitting in the aisle seats, due to which they got shot by the terrorist. She received Ashok Chakra. What do you think? Your only skills matter? No. She had a degree. She had a training period. She was well trained into this profession, which helped her to save 329 lives. Not only Indian, but also people from Pakistan, people also from the US. What are your views on this?
Bringing a patriotic argument in the current scenario is not that much relevant, because she saved the lives because of her skills and training period, that training period provided her the strong skills to save that particular passengers, or not the traditional degree she pursued in that particular scenario.
All right. So you're talking about patriotism, right? Okay, fantastic. I'll come upon this. A formal degree. My mother is a nursing officer in BMC. She is in this medical field since last 2 decades. Whenever they receive their degree after 4 years of graduation, they have to take an oath wherein they will serve the nation irrespective of whatever the condition is, be it any natural calamities, any pandemic. Recently we saw COVID, right? Nurses, doctors, all the frontline workers, they are very well trained. Their degree teaches them discipline. Their degree teaches them how to deal with the patients, any citizens of India. This is a formal degree, right? Medical degree is a formal degree. These people, for example, my mother, during COVID, she was working in those PPE kits without AC, no washrooms, no water bottles, they can't drink anything for good 7 to 8 hours. We people were sitting at home enjoying the lockdown, but the frontline workers weren't. It was their degree that helped people to save many lives. Also, the vaccine that we got, it was also because of them, right? They had some previous knowledge. What are your views on this? This is a formal degree,
I'm
right?
totally agreeing with your fact that medical field really contributes in large scale to the human society. But currently we are the point of the debate is we are focusing on traditional degrees and skills, and all these things your mother did in that pandemic period was due to because of her experience and the skills that she gained through all that years, which can also be considered inside the skills section because of her experience.
See, traditional degree is not just a degree, it's the foundation, it's the core. Okay, so experience से क्या होता है? What happens with experience? Experience anybody can gain, यार. You do some online course for 6 months. You work upon that particular topic. You will gain experience. But what about the knowledge? The people who were working in the pandemic, the frontline workers, they had knowledge, they had discipline, they had traditional degree, which helped them to serve people, the nation, not just the nation but the world. See, my mother was just a small contribution in it, but on behalf of all the frontline workers who have holded this traditional degree.
Okay, that's really impressive that your mother pursued a traditional degree. But as my companion said that she gained the skills, the experience, the knowledge throughout that 2 decades that your mom was serving. And in today's world, the skills are also important as a traditional degree is. In today's world, a second year or third year student also gets a placement where a few of the B students are still suffering because of lack of the skill set. The industry and the world is finding for the better person with a good skill. If you have a traditional degree and you got placed but you don't have skills, you can't work. The company will kick you out in the 2 months, 3 months, 6 months.
I just want to ask you something, that can I trust a doctor without degree? Can I trust on him?
I want to add on it. Did you see the current qualification criteria for the doctors or the NEET exam? Currently, they even declared that if you get minus 40 marks in the NEET examination, you are still eligible for qualifying in doctors. Do you think those doctors will be able to provide that kind of service or that kind of knowledge they will gain from that degree if on the first hand they are not even capable of getting that amount of marks?
Good evening to respected judges, dignitaries, and all my fellow colleagues and friends. Don't mind me, my hand is shaking, but that is because I'm asthmatic and I have vitamin B12 deficiency and I have not taken my medicine. That is the reason. But coming back to the topic, traditional degrees do hold relevance in today's world. Okay, you may agree or not, but you know what? Degree is a perfect blend of compiled knowledge, practical knowledge, and skills, also discipline. Let me tell you, traditional degrees are not losing its relevance, okay? They are not. I'll take an example of Smriti Irani ma'am, the ex-cabinet minister of our nation. She was a textile minister, education minister, worked in a very popular TV show like Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, which was a household name. She was a textile minister, as I said. She holded a degree in BCom. A textile minister has to know about profits, has to know about losses. Without a commerce degree, she wouldn't have been possible to
gain more knowledge. Of course, when she was in her ministry period, she must have studied a lot, she must have examined a lot, analyzed many situations. But this degree, the traditional degree that she had, helped her to enhance the knowledge. Also, another example, in 2023, NMACC, Neeta Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, was inaugurated by Mrs. Neeta Mukesh Ambani ji, who is an Indian philanthropist. She built Swadesh, an Indian organization which is supporting the Indian weavers. It has been a legacy of weavers, right? We have seen that many generations have passed on, and they have had some amazing craftsmanship. They have prepared some beautiful saris, some beautiful clothing wear. But without a person who is very well skilled into business, it wasn't possible for the weavers. May I speak for 2 minutes? If it is okay. So Neeta Mukesh Ambani built Swadesh in 2023, which gave an opportunity to all the craftsmen, to all the people, to all the weavers across the nation from the remote places of India to come to their center, present their work, their art, which has helped to reach many big designers, Manish Malhotra, Sabyasachi, and so many people. She was the woman behind that. She holded a degree. That was the reason why these people who were skilled, but she brought them in the eyes of people, in the eyes of common people like us. I would like to end my speech here. Thank you so much.
Respected chairperson, honorable judges, and my worthy opponents and esteemed audience. As we arrive at the conclusion of this debate, it is important to step back from individual arguments and observe the broader reality that surrounds us. Throughout this discussion, many perspectives have been presented. However, one thing remains consistent. The world is changing faster than our traditional systems are adapting it. And relevance in any context is determined not by history, but by usefulness in the present. The side I represent does not deny the value of knowledge or education. What we question is whether traditional structures in their current form are meeting modern expectations. Across industries, hiring patterns, and professional environments, we see a clear shift. From qualifications to capabilities, from memorization to applications, from rigid paths to flexible learning. Relevance today is defined by outcomes. If a system repeatedly produces individuals who struggle to meet real-world demands, then it becomes necessary to reevaluate what is wrong in that system. Our stance has consistently emphasized adaptability, practicality, and alignment with current realities. These are not extreme demands, they are logical responses to a rapidly evolving world. Tradition deserves respect, but tradition without transformation becomes limitation. Progress does not erase the past, it builds upon in it better, more effective ways. Therefore, based on relevance, practicality, and future readiness, the position we defend aligns more closely with the needs of today's society. And as my opponent said, he said about 1983s and 2 decades. So I think the debate we had today was about the time which is here today. Things were different 2 decades ago, which is now. 2 decades ago, we were getting jobs based on our qualifications. But now, with qualifications, skills matters the most. And I think for these reasons, I respectfully urge the judges to support me. Thank you.
And now it's time for the final debate of the evening. We have Data Strikers versus Big Battalion. CSEDS are Data Strikers and VLSI is Big Battalion. VLSI is the proposition team, which is Big Battalion, and CSEDS, which are the Data Strikers, are the opposite team. Their topic for today is, do career opportunities depend more on professional networking than individual talent and merit?
Let's begin with the final face-off of the evening.
All the best, team.
Talent exists everywhere. Opportunity does not. Opportunities are earned, they are not bought. Good evening, everyone. We are the proposition team, and today we are going to talk on the topic, do career opportunities depend more on professional networking rather than individual talent and merit? And we are going to change your view, the judges' view, as well as our opposition's view on why it actually matters. Why career opportunities depend more on professional networking rather than talent. As I mentioned in my introduction, talent exists everywhere. Every single person in this room, including the people on the stage, are talented in some sort of way. Everybody might have some different talent. Like I have the talent of speaking, you might have the talent of singing, you might have the talent of creating some hardware. But there is billions of people in the world. Our country is the most populous country in the world right now, with approximately over 1.5 billion people. Do everyone get the same opportunity? If talent existed, and if talent was absolutely everything, then why would some people be homeless? Why would some people be working on low-wage jobs? Why would some people complain about, I don't get this opportunity? That same person has the same degree as me. Why am I the one suffering? Why am I the one earning 20,000 rupees per month? Why can I not earn 1 lakh rupees per month? This is because networking doesn't exist. I am speaking on this stage today because I have networked with my classmates, networked with my teachers, and they gave me this opportunity to come on stage and give this introduction to you right now. Some of you in the crowd might be even better than me at speaking. But you did not network, that's why you're not here. But if I can change your view today, that will be a win for me and the win for our team as well. Opportunities are not distributed through neutral or automated systems. You have to be seen as the odd one out. You have to be seen as someone who's special. People on LinkedIn continuously post about job opportunities here, job opportunities there. There's a lot of hackathons on Unstock. Our college also hosts so many hackathons. The ones who participate, the ones who move forward, the ones who take the initiative are the ones who get the exposure, are the ones who win, and are the ones who know what to do with their life. We'll take the best example, India's Got Talent or any Got Talent show. We see so many people display their different types of talent. Some people know how to sing, some people know how to juggle. We know one popular example, MJ5. But does everyone make it out there as a celebrity? Absolutely not. Does everyone make it? If the crowd agrees with me. Nobody makes it out as a celebrity if they don't network enough. If today I come to you and say, hey, I'm XYZ person, I have a talent for animation. 10 days later you might realize, oh, I need an animation project. I know one guy who can do it for me. He's also my friend. He can do it for me cheaper. And you contact. And then the project which would have gone on YouTube or on Fiverr, where you would have had to ask someone to make it for you and then pay their price. You can just say that's your friend. So I would just like to say that in this debate, we will be attempting to convince you on why networking is more important. We believe both of these things go hand in hand, but networking is the most important and the most extreme step possible. Thank you.
Honorable judges and everybody present here, I have to ask you a simple, direct question. If networking truly created opportunities, then why do you still have to prove yourself to the world? Why do interviews still exist? And why do skill tests exist? Because the truth is simple. Networking doesn't create real opportunities, merit does. You can talk to 100 people, you can talk to 100 people, or you can shake 100 hands. You can collect 100 LinkedIn connections. But here's what nobody tells you out loud. Even if you have 100 LinkedIn connections, or 10 people already ready to meet you and recommend you,
or take an interview of you. At the end of the day, only the person who has the merit, who has the talent will get selected instead of the person whose names everybody knows. So, a conversation can't replace competence. Now, listen carefully. This is where most people get fooled. They confuse knowing people with getting chosen. But opportunity is not a friendly message. Opportunity is a decision with a consequence. So, ask yourself, would you trust your career, your company on a vibe or on proof? In tech and data science, you face live coding assessments and challenges. In medicine, you can network your way through a surgery. So, in these careers, selection is performance under pressure. And you need to be competent enough to be able to handle the pressure, the deadlines. So ask yourself, would any of it matter after 2 months or 3 months, even if you got your foot through the door, in the door, but you cannot meet deadlines, you will be exposing yourself to the world. And even when somebody gets in through connections, it collapses fast if they cannot deliver. Studies show nepotism hires, people hired only for connections, have a higher firing rate within the first 18 months because output exposes everything. Networking is temporary. As I said before, merit is permanent. And now, yes, the other side might throw impressive sounding numbers about networking. Let's take them head on. CNBC reports that 70% of job openings are never publicly and are often filled internally or through referrals. And job-wide data shows referred candidates are 4x more likely to be hired and are hired 55% faster. But here's the catch. These facts only prove networking affects speed of access and speed of hiring, not the quality of selection. Getting noticed faster is not the same as being the best choice. Access is not an achievement. Now look at the direction the job market is moving. Platforms like Kaggle, Upwork, HackerRank often hire anonymously to not show that they are being referred to, and they can also save somebody's identity. That proves one and only thing. When the system is serious, it removes networking and measures only performance and talent. When results matter, names don't. So I'll end with the clear conclusion. You don't get real opportunities because you know people.
In a live coding thing, or maybe in a big company just because you know them. In a live coding thing, or maybe in a big company just because you know them.
I feel like you're not getting the point. Networking is not nepotism. What we wanted to convey to you is that networking is just a boost you need, and currently all the career opportunities are dependent on how networked you are. Like I mentioned in my introduction, that if you know networking, if you're networking with people, and if you're talented, you can fill the jobs. And the point which you mentioned...
Okay, yes, I get your
please
point.
let me complete,
Yeah, okay.
please. So there are aptitude tests, there are a lot of tests. You are absolutely correct. But that is to filter out the ones which are there at the finish line. Networking is required to get you to that finish line.
Okay.
And as you mentioned in your introduction, 70 to 80% or the percentage of job openings are never publicly advertised. Yeah, they are not advertised. That is why you need networking, right? You need networking so that you can show yourself to the company who are not openly hiring and throwing job opportunities at you.
Okay,
And you
yes,
show them
can I
that you earn the
speak?
position.
I get your point. About that 70% hidden market thing, I'll tell you about the referrals concept as a final year student myself. What happens in referrals is basically you cold email someone on LinkedIn, okay? And then you ask them for referrals. Now suppose I want to get into Google, I go to a top software engineer and I ask them for referrals. That is what he's talking about, the 70% networking thing, okay? So I go to him and probably he has like 10k followers, he's getting 100 of DM requests. So will he just give it to me? No, because I'm a stranger to him. So what does he ask to me? My resume, my talent. Then what can I do? So at the end, even if you talk about this hidden market, here also you have a race of talent you have a race of talent itself. He's telling the finish line is about networking. No, the finish line is about talent and the start line is also about talent.
get to the finish line, you need an aspect, are going more for masters rather than jobs. Why do you think that is?
Because in your opinion,
Also an add-on. See, whatever you said was very limited and was pertaining to the freshers job, not to the jobs which are already existing, and the corporate ladder is huge. So there are multiple jobs at multiple different stages. And what happens is generally is that these jobs are filled with reference because their superiors or their previous bosses had good reputations with them or good bonds with them, and that is how the most of the jobs at the top are filled. It's just that the freshers which you're talking about, and it's very limited to our discussion. You don't
okay, wait, not
make it a
just
stereotype.
okay, just not freshers. For example, my cousin, he works in Oracle, okay, and he was asking for a referral from somebody else at a senior position. Now, basically they are also cousins, and he didn't give him the referral directly. You know, they were on a 1 hour call, and he said, first upskill yourself. So, you know, why do they not give referrals directly? Because if I give referral to someone who is useless, then the company will never give me a chance to give another referral. You know, you can only give referral if you have talent. You can only be part of the network itself if you have talent. You can never come inside the network if you don't have talent. If you somehow get inside the network, eventually, as she was saying in the opening speech, eventually within 18 months you will get fired. Okay, and in your opening speech, you were telling that everyone here in this room has talent. So you're telling me someone who has solved like thousands of lead code problems over the 4 years is the same as someone who was just doing committee work? Are you saying that? Are you saying juggling and everything? Everyone is an Einstein here. Is that your point?
Again, you're misunderstanding.
I'm not misunderstanding. You're just claiming I'm misunderstanding. What am I misunderstanding?
Exactly. If you let me speak. Your career opportunities depend more on professional networking. We are not talking about talent here. When I mentioned in my introduction that everybody has talent, I also mentioned that some of you might not have network. That's why you're not on this stage talking and debating right now. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not talking about talent.
So you're also in this debate point. First of all, this team which is coming here to debate with you, this is not formed because I knew him. I am a BE and he's a FE. I did not know him. I selected him because I did selections. He came because of his talent, not because of network.
This competition is happening. You must have read it.
Okay, it was declared on the official groups, so it reached out to everyone. It was not like a special email was sent out to him, it was circulated throughout the college. So everyone got the equal.
Networking is a type of marketing. Marketing was done by the committee that this is competition is happening. As a networking person, as someone who has friends, even having friends is networking, right? All 4 of us are not friends. I'm a direct second year student. I don't know any of these people, right? But I knew I had the talent. I knew I had the network. I knew I had people who wanted me to go for this debate. I knew through the official communication channels, which was on the social media network, that this
So you came over here because you knew you had the talent to debate. So same way, not everyone has the talent to debate, thus they did not come here. Are you saying a painter should go apply for a tech job just because he knows a tech job is existing?
It's not relevant. Let's just drift off from the committee and college thing. So you would be, unless you would be seen as a competent person, you won't get that job, and that only happens when you have good network.
You're agreeing that you need to be competent, you need to be talented. You're agreeing with me.
But it can't be seen.
It can be seen.
Can you hear our introduction? We did say that talent and opportunity goes hand in hand. Networking goes hand in hand, but networking is important.
First of all, your introduction was highly flawed because you were talking about everyone being talented. How does that make sense? Okay, it sounds like motivational, but everyone is not an Einstein here. Someone is an Einstein in painting, someone is an Einstein in tech.
So then you
cannot generalize point. No, I'm not generalizing. As you said, you came here because you knew you had the talent to debate. Suppose someone from my friends is sitting here, he did not come here for the selection because he knew he's not a good debater. Thus he did not come. Same way a painter won't go for a tech job, not because he's not networking, because he knows that is not his talent.
Do career opportunities depend more on professional networking? We are saying that it depends on networking. We are not going that this profession should go this place. I'm not saying a painter should come in a debate. That is not what we are saying. We are saying that networking is important so that you get the right leads, so that you can go to your dream career and then you get the job which you want, which you will not get
So
sitting at home.
okay, so I already counted that point. Similarly, that if there is a software engineer and he has hundreds of DMs, okay, so everyone, each one of them has network with him, yes or no? But will he give that one job opening to hundreds of people? No. He'll only give it to the one who's talented, whose resume is worthwhile.
Yeah, so you answered our question.
No, I'm saying you said the finish line was networking. The finish line is always talent. Networking is only knowing a door exists. To get the key to the door is always the talent. You know connections are temporary, but your talent is forever.
But I said getting to the finish line requires networking. I never said the finishing line.
If you don't have the talent, you won't first of all network. Networking is just a middle thing. At the start, you first know you have the talent. For example, in your case, see in your case, you knew you had the talent to debate. So thus you network and then you got selected because you actually had the talent. So it started with you knowing you had the talent.
So then are you not contradicting yourself when you said if your LinkedIn is filled with hundreds of DMs and one guy has built thousands and solved thousands of code, I don't exactly recall what you said, and one guy has only done a few hundred.
If you cannot recall what I said, how can you say I'm wrong? How are you saying I'm contradicting myself if you don't remember what I said? Remember your each point I targeted your only one. You don't remember what I said. Okay, let's not get into that. I don't want to make it something funny. But still, what I can see, you are just gaslighting that I'm misunderstanding this, that. You're not getting the point itself. You are just using generic statements, so you are not getting it, you are not doing this. Let me complete. Yes, so what I'm saying is, you were claiming that networking is something that gets you to the finish line. No, you contradicted yourself when you said you knew you had the talent to debate. So you started running when you knew you had the talent, not when you started networking.
Okay, let me make it more clear. You are always targeting about how hard work, talent is more important than that. But I would like to tell that when time is limited, founders hire people they know, not the people they Google. Okay, so if you are telling that hard work always works, but unless it's until
Good evening, everyone present here. So I would just like to conclude the discussion that we had from our point that you are sitting here, just ask yourself one honest question. When the consequences are real, do you trust your connections or do you trust your competence? Because when it is your health, your safety, your future on the line, you don't ask someone who knows. You ask what they can do. Their raw talent matters. This debate is not about whether networking exists. Of course it does. But the real decision is whether networking deserves career or merely introduces them. And the data is clear. Many workforces that show that referred candidates are hired faster. But these candidates that get job based on referrals are laid off in the next 12 or 18 months because they are not competent enough. And in the end, talent matters in the long run. Again, ask yourself another question. Can networking fix a failed product? Can it write code under pressure? No, that is done by talent. That is why company relies on performance and talented people, not on referrals. In fact, research shows that high-performing employees are the ones that are twice likely to be retained and promoted regardless of how they were hired. So you cannot network your way out of missed deadlines or repeated mistakes or lost revenue. During economic downturns, data consistently shows that employees with measurable output and critical skills are last to be let go, while low performers, even with connections, are laid off because they are not competent, they are just here on basis of a referral. So our careers are built on talent. but they depend on favor they cannot sustain without it. And networking may introduce opportunity, but in order to sustain in that opportunity, talent and merit and your hard work is the only thing that takes you forward. So when you leave this room and think about your own career, ask yourself, do you want success that depends on people remembering your name, or do you want people to remember on your talent and on your work? Because when titles fade and networks shift, competence remains. For these reasons, grounded in data, performance and reality, we proudly stand against the motion. Thank you.
As we conclude this debate, it is important to return to the central question: what truly determines career opportunities in the real world? This discussion is not about denying the value of talent. Talent is essential. Skill, hard work, and merit are the foundations of professional excellence. But excellence alone does not guarantee opportunity. Talent exists in abundance across classrooms, offices, and communities. Capable individuals are everywhere. What is scarce? Scarce is access. Access to information, access to decision makers, and access to opportunity itself. Careers do not unfold in isolation. They unfold within systems. Systems built by people, influenced by trust, and sustained through relationships. Professional networking mechanism that allows individuals to enter these systems. A career progresses in two stages: being allowed to participate and being able to perform. Talent governs performance. Networking governs participation. Without participation, performance is irrelevant. Without access, merit cannot even be demonstrated. This is not an emotion claim. It is structural reality. Opportunities does not arrive equally at every doorstep. It flows through conversations, recommendations, mentorships, and professional circles. Those within these networks hear about opportunities earlier, are trusted sooner, and considered more readily. Talent explains what individual can do. Professional networking explains whether the system gives that individual a chance to do it. Networking creates visibility. Networking creates trust. Networking creates access. This does not diminish talent. In fact, it elevates it by giving talent the platform it needs to be recognized and rewarded. Career opportunities depend more on professional networking, not because talent lacks value, but because networking determines whether talent is ever allowed to matter. Thank you.